Plato and Socrates, two giants of Western philosophy, often find themselves intertwined in the annals of thought. But beneath their shared ideals are fundamental clashes that invite us to explore deeper truths. Today, we'll dive into three key philosophical differences between these monumental figures. Let us start with the first clash, the nature of knowledge. Socrates famously proclaimed, "I know that I know nothing." For him, true wisdom was recognizing one's ignorance. He believed that enlightenment begins with questioning everything around us. This method of inquiry, the Socratic method, ignited dialogues that challenged assumptions, allowing individuals to peel back the layers of their beliefs. On the other hand, we have Plato, who radically transformed this idea. Plato posited that knowledge is not merely about questioning, but about knowing the eternal truths, the forms. According to him, these ideal forms exist in a realm beyond our physical world. So while Socrates dug into the essence of ignorance, Plato sought the existence of an absolute truth, suggesting that the physical realm is merely a shadow of the real one. Imagine a cave where prisoners see only shadows on a wall. Socrates would push them to recognize those shadows, while Plato would urge them to turn around and grasp the sun itself. This fundamental difference sparks a fascinating discourse. Is knowledge an exploration of the unknown, or is it the discovery of a higher reality? Now let us shift gears to the second clash, ethics and morality. Socrates, through his relentless questioning, sought to understand the essence of virtue. He argued that no one does wrong willingly. Wrongdoing stems from ignorance. If people truly understood what is good, they would act accordingly. This led to the belief that knowledge and virtue are inseparable. Conversely, Plato introduced a more structured view of morality. In his work, The Republic, he outlined an ideal society governed by philosopher-kings, individuals who possess the ultimate knowledge of the good. For Plato, morality isn't just personal, it's social. The good life requires understanding the true nature of justice and aligning society accordingly. Thus, while Socrates emphasized personal understanding, Plato elevated the conversation to a societal level, suggesting that our collective understanding of morality shapes not just. This brings us to the third clash, the role of the individual versus the collective. Socrates championed the individual's quest for. His dialogues reveal a profound commitment to personal integrity and self-examination. He believed that the journey inward leads to an enlightened existence, urging individuals to challenge the status quo and question societal norms. In stark contrast, Plato viewed the individual as part of a larger whole. His idealism was rooted in the belief that society needs to cultivate its citizens for the greater good. In contrast to Socratic individualism, Plato saw the philosopher-king as pivotal to leading society toward truth and justice. In essence, while Socrates focused on individual enlightenment, Plato's vision stretched beyond, advocating for a harmonious society shaped by philosophical wisdom. As we unpack these three philosophical confrontations, we inevitably confront deeper questions. What is the nature of knowledge? Is virtue inherently connected to understanding? Should the individual's quest for meaning take precedence over societal needs? The nuances in the debates between Plato and Socrates encourage us to reflect on our own lives and beliefs. Their legacies beckon us to explore not just the answers, but the questions that propel our understanding of the world. So, as we navigate life's philosophical labyrinth, might we echo the Socratic spirit by continuously asking ourselves and each other the crucial questions that get to the heart of who we are? Or should we embrace Plato's pursuit of a larger truth, one that may guide our societies toward a more enlightened future? The choice is a reflection of the rich tapestry of philosophical thought that began millennia ago. and continues to influence us today in the shadows of their debates. The light of understanding shines ever more brightly, urging us toward inquiry and introspection, not just as philosophers in the ancient Greek sense, but as modern seekers of truth. Thus, the legacies of Socrates and Plato remind us that philosophy is not a sterile subject confined to dusty books, but a lively, breathing dialogue within and outside ourselves. So, who will you listen to as you navigate your philosophical path? Socrates or Plato? The dialogue continues across centuries, inviting us to engage in our own explorations, to question, to learn, and perhaps to ultimately understand a bit more about ourselves and our world. As we delve deeper into the essence of their philosophies, let us examine how their legacies resonate in our daily lives. The tensions between individual inquiry and collective morality are not merely academic debates. They form the foundation of how we understand ourselves in relation to society. Take, for instance, the current discussions around personal responsibility versus societal obligations. This debate echoes the core differences between Plato and Socrates. When we face ethical dilemmas today, do we lean into Socrates' idea of personal virtue being tied to our knowledge of good? Or do we prioritize Plato's vision of a society where collective understanding shapes our actions and decisions? This leads us to a real-world example, the climate crisis. Is the solution rooted in individual actions, like reducing one's carbon footprint, consistent with Socratic thought? Or does it require a collective consensus and systemic change? Honoring Plato's idea of philosopher-kings guiding us towards a just solution, both perspectives are compelling, and their intersection reveals the complexity of our modern challenges. The synthesis of individual and collective responsibility invites us to critically analyze what it means to live ethically in our interconnected world. Now, let us expand on the second main point, the pursuit of truth. Socrates believed that truth is achieved through dialogue and critical questioning. His approach centers on the idea that discussing ideas openly can lead to greater understanding. It is an organic process, shaped by interactions like a dance of thought that flourishes in the light of debate. Plato, however, introduces a stark contrast with his theory of forms. He asserts that truth is an unchanging reality that exists apart from the chaotic world we experience. For Plato, the truth is not discovered but realized, much like walking toward a distant light. His allegory of the cave depicts people shackled in ignorance, only to find reality when they escape and behold the forms. This dichotomy presents an intriguing question. Is truth something we uncover through critical dialogue, or is it a fixed ideal we strive to comprehend? This tension speaks to the ongoing debates in philosophy and science today. For instance, in the realm of ethics, where relativism questions the existence of absolute truths. Socrates reminds us of the importance of dialogue, while Plato challenges us to seek a higher standard of understanding. What does this mean for how we approach knowledge in our lives? Socratic inquiry encourages us to ask open-ended questions, to engage with differing perspectives, and to embrace the complexities of knowledge. Plato's perspective drives us to seek those ideals, to not lose sight of what true goodness looks like in both our personal lives and society. By navigating between these two approaches, we foster a richer understanding of truth that integrates inquiry with a vision of what could be. Next, let us confront the implications of their contrasting views on education. For Socrates, education was an ever-evolving dialogue, where the teacher and student engage in a shared quest for understanding. This participatory learning process is foundational, as it encourages critical thinking rather than rote memorization. Socrates' philosophy suggests that the goal of education is not to fill minds with facts, but to stimulate the intellect, inviting students to think deeply and question bravely. Plato, in contrast, saw education as a means to mold society. In the Republic, he envisioned a structured educational system designed to cultivate philosopher-kings who possessed the knowledge necessary to govern justly. Education, for Plato, serves a broader purpose: to create an enlightened society capable of recognizing. Here, we see a divergence that reflects in our modern educational paradigms. Do we prioritize a Socratic model, encouraging students to explore freely? Or do we adopt a more structured approach, akin to Plato's vision, where we systematically mold future leaders? Ultimately, could the most effective education be a fusion of both philosophies, encouraging critical inquiry while also cultivating a sense of collective responsibility and purpose? As we bring these discussions together, it becomes clear that the legacy of Plato and Socrates is not simply historical, it is alive and breathing through our ideas, our societies, and our individual lives. Their contrasting but complementary views compel us to reflect on fundamental questions. How do we seek knowledge? What guides our moral compass? What responsibility do we hold as individuals within our communities? These reflections resonate with us not just as students of philosophy, but as everyday individuals, grappling with the complexities of modern life. The teachings of Socrates urge us to question everything, to investigate the layers of our beliefs, while Plato's idealism inspires us to envision a world governed by wisdom and justice. Ultimately, the ongoing dialogue between these two figures underscores the beauty of philosophy itself, a continual quest for understanding that transcends time, challenging us to connect the dots between knowledge, virtue, and the greater good. Their ideas encourage us to cultivate our own philosophical journeys, navigating the landscape of thought with courage and curiosity. So, as you reflect on your beliefs and values, remember that the dialogue between Socrates and Plato remains open, inviting you to participate in the exploration of truth and what it means to live a meaningful life. As the echoes of their thoughts resonate within us, we are reminded that philosophy is not merely a pursuit of knowledge, but a journey toward understanding and connection with ourselves and the world around us. Where does your philosophical journey take you? Are you more inclined to follow Socrates into the depths of questioning or embrace Plato's vision of aspiring towards the ideal? The choice is yours, and in that choice, the essence of philosophy lives on. As we consider the impact of these foundational ideas, think about how they manifest in our current world. Each clash between Plato and Socrates serves as a lens through which we can inspect modern societal challenges. One significant area is our approach to democracy and governance. Socrates often critiqued Athenian democracy, emphasizing that decisions should come from the wise rather than the many. His skepticism raises essential questions about the competence of citizens in making informed decisions. When we vote, are we drawing from a well of knowledge and understanding, or are we swayed by emotions and misinformation? In contrast, Plato offers a vision where philosopher-kings, armed with ultimate knowledge of the forms, guide society. This sparks a vital dialogue about the balance between expertise and public opinion. Should we hand over power to the elite few, or should every voice be heard in our democratic processes? This dilemma invites us to ponder the effectiveness of our current political systems. Furthermore, the notion of truth in leadership echoes the ongoing debates about integrity and transparency in governance. In a world where information is abundant but often misleading, the teachings of both philosophers illuminate the importance of critical thinking. Socrates encourages us to ask, what do we know about the claims being made? And Plato inspires us to seek leaders who can articulate a vision rooted in deeper, timeless truths. As we wrap up our exploration of Plato and Socrates, let us reflect on the essence of their legacies and how they intertwine with our lives. They teach us that the pursuit of knowledge is not merely an academic endeavor, but a lifelong journey that shapes our character and society. Their discussions about ethics, governance, and the quest for truth challenge us to engage thoughtfully with the world around us. Whether you find yourself aligning more with Socratic questioning or Plato's idealism, both perspectives are vital in navigating the complexities of our existence. In this age of rapid information dissemination, understanding their philosophies becomes crucial. They remind us that critical inquiry leads to personal growth and that our potential to influence the collective fabric of our societies. So, as you encounter new ideas and perspectives, take a moment to consider, how can the wisdom of Socrates and Plato guide your understanding of current events and their legacies invite us to question, explore, and aspire toward a more enlightened existence. In doing so, we become not just passive consumers of knowledge, but active participants in the philosophical discourse that shapes our world. What will you choose to pursue in your intellectual journey? The questions laid by Socrates and Plato remain ever relevant, echoing through time as an invitation to engage. As you navigate your path, remember that the search for wisdom is a dialogue, one that is ongoing, dynamic, and ultimately transformative. Each question you ask and each truth you seek brings you one step closer to understanding the world and your place within it. So, step boldly into that conversation, armed with the insights of these